In a podcast, no one can hear you scream. Two spooky boys arm their crossbows and prepare to hunt monsters. Sink your fangs into this new season as we explore the world of monsters in film. From aliens to werewolves, these brothers are getting grim and cooking up some good new content. You may have heard a howl in the distance, but you haven't heard from us. Not us. United. Can I sing you a song this real quick?
Yeah, as long as it's copyright free.
I don't know if it is. Now I'm panicking.
You can
Never mind.
You can speak. What is it? Spoken poetry.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Word poets.
Bro, the song. What's it called?
You got me.
I Can't Hold Back by Survivor. Can you feel me tremble when
we
we touch?
Yeah.
And I feel the hit, dude. That has been on repeat all week.
Just on your mind.
No,
Oh.
literally been playing it. Spotify, like, check out the data. It's there. It might be my new end of the year, probably top 5.
Really? And this is in October, so it's
Yeah.
really got to get up there.
Yeah, exactly. But
So,
it will.
It speaks to the
I'm
level
not,
of.
I'm not too worried about it.
I wasn't worried about it either.
Good. So everyone, we're going to be podcasting like normal for the most part, but we are painting miniatures from our board games that we play at the same time. So there's going to be probably some bouts of silence where normally
There's humorous jokes.
humorous jokes or Michael just filling the air with
So I'll still be doing that, but with the paintbrush in my hand.
correct. But yeah, so currently, who are you painting? And give us some lore.
Yeah, so I am painting a set that I have purchased many moons ago. I think it was almost a year ago that I glued together but have not painted of a game called Warhammer. It's probably one of the more popular miniature games people would probably know.
Yes.
And these are the Tau.
Are they from the 40K?
They are
like
40K specifically.
Okay.
And, I have a
Because
side note.
there's all sorts of fun.
Yeah, there's like this is not what I'm painting, but there's like an old world 40K going on, and like knights and stuff.
Yep.
I'm all about that. So
Yeah, there was a video game that I played in that universe, and it was like Vermintide. I don't know if that's the universe, but it was
think
like
so.
you basically are knights fighting like a rat plague, which
Yeah.
is probably like what happened in real life. I'm not a historian, but
oh no, like the Black Plague was really just like Knights of Excalibur, but like big old rats.
now why haven't we gotten that movie? That's the question, Hollywood.
Hollywood call us up.
Exactly.
But anyways, I'm painting the Tau, which are an alien race, but kind of like also robotic.
Okay.
And they were like in the lore, I don't know too much about it, but in the lore, they're like this far off planet that isn't kind of like touched by any other civilization. So they're kind of like isolated on their own.
Okay.
But so they don't, the whole deal with like 40K is like Earth is trying to take over everybody. And so like they can't get to these people because of like some kind of, I don't know, mumbo jumbo storm thing. And so these people are like isolated until they like can break free. Now they can like fight, and now they can Warhammer. So that's about as much as the lore as I know.
Neat.
But I'm doing a very awful job at painting. I'm not really an artist.
What you said you're doing an awful job. Compared to who? Compared to what you would have been doing tonight? Because I bet that guy wasn't painting. So I guess you're doing better than that guy.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
Nick texted me like an hour before I was coming over to his place, and he was like, "You want to just like paint miniatures while we do the podcast?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Yeah, that sounds awesome."
Yeah.
I haven't really painted miniatures, but I've always wanted to get into it.
This feels like, and I know nothing about what this feels like for females, but this feels like the equivalent of getting our nails done.
Yeah, except it's like way cooler and way manlier.
Well, I wouldn't say that. You know, I feel like maybe them getting their nails done is more manly than what we're doing.
How so?
There's a confidence from like, hey, this piece of my body that I need to chop off every now and then, I'm going to decorate it. That's kind of cool. It's kind of hardcore.
I see what you're going for. I like that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Never understood it, but I respect the hell out of it.
No, I get it. Like Grace does it. and I like Wait, no. I've seen someone. Whoa, wait. Like, I'm married to a woman, so I like know the female experience. No. Wait.
All right,
No,
dial it back.
I get like it looks like a lot of fun, and Grace gets a lot of fun out
Yeah.
of it, and so I get the appeal, and it's nice to look at. I think
Sure.
she does a great job.
Amen.
So Grace,
Amen.
shout outs. I know you're probably listening to this one because we are actually talking about a movie
That you've watched together.
that we watched together, and
Yeah.
she's like, and she hadn't seen anything since we've come back,
Sure.
like any of the movies.
Probably for good reason.
Probably for the best.
Yeah.
But we will be getting to Love and Monsters at some point.
Yes.
But I wanted you to have your chance to,
Oh, sure.
to share your painting.
I am currently painting. I backed a Kickstarter board game back in the day called Marvel United, from Simon, or Come On Games.
Come on.
Come on,
Come on,
little
games.
board game,
Come on, little
baby. And they released a 4-player co-op game where you just play as the Marvel characters. But usually with Kickstarter editions, you get some stretch goals and things that won't necessarily be released in retail. And so I backed it because they're like good marketing people. They kept like characters that it would be weird to have Captain America, but Spider-Man being locked behind like a little expansion. So smart from a business standpoint because I backed all of it. And it's a game we've played together.
I enjoy it. It's a good game.
And yeah, it's just good. Cooperative games, I feel like, really get overlooked. I think a lot of people like when there's just one winner, and I like when everyone leaves a winner. So I kind of prefer cooperative, or everyone leaves as a loser. Like we're on an even playing
We're on
field
the
by the
same
time
team.
we leave.
Yeah.
Friendships, if they're lost, they're all lost, or they're all reforged. So, but I'm
Fire is a
painting
board game, yeah.
the original Peter Parker Spider-Man right now,
OG
and
Pete.
I would argue that I'm doing not that bad. I've kind of got a nice little wash. Like the paint is going see-through, but I think I'm going to do like a couple coats. But like, I don't know.
I think that looks really good. It looks better than mine. I feel like I'm going to do the second
I think you
layer.
need to thin it out.
Do I need to thin it out?
Well, no, it's just like if it's too bold, sometimes it's going to look clunky because the paint will dry and it looks
I
like
don't
you
think
kind of
it's
kicked
clunky.
it.
I think it's more like not even.
Oh, just not even.
You know what
Like
I mean?
you're not drawn in the lines.
No, not like that. Like, here, look at this. Like, it doesn't feel like it almost feels too watery.
Oh, gotcha.
You think so?
No, I think you're good. I think you touch that up or you accent it.
Okay. Yeah.
So kind of like look at it in the light and see where the light hits, and then maybe you can like brush some lighter color versions of that on there.
Yeah, I'm just getting a base coat. I'm trying my best over here.
Yeah,
I respect the hustle.
yeah. But
This
yes,
is all dovetailing into eventually Nick threw the idea of us doing a live stream, and us like being record. Eventually, we would want to record this podcast,
yeah,
and so we can be doing something while doing the podcast. So this is like a test run of that.
yeah. I suppose. Yeah, we can be entertaining while also just talking. I think I don't want to be. It's the word presumptuous and assume that we automatically are entertaining to watch, let alone
Listen to.
listen to.
Have you heard our conversation? I think we're pretty
But
good right now.
I do think if at this point you're still listening,
You're a
it
real
could
one.
maybe add a little flavor. And you can see how white we really are. And I think it's great.
Yeah.
So, because I'm very, very white.
You can tan up,
I could tan up a little bit. I'm going to get swole first, then
then tan.
tan.
I respect that.
Don't want to uneven it, like
Yeah,
if my
yeah.
muscles stretch and then I got these weird stretch tan
Yeah, it's
marks.
like, wait,
what are we
wait.
doing?
Yeah.
And I'm probably going to bulk up really fast.
Yeah, you don't want to get too
science.
big too fast, right?
Yeah.
That'd be embarrassing.
Naturally, I'm just always in ketosis, so I just have to
Right,
always fight
the urge.
fight that battle.
Yeah.
And so,
Well, yeah. You're fighting the battle that others just can't fight.
yeah, and it's kind of a burden, It's like if I'm in ketosis, I'm more likely to get kidney stones, and I only got one of those bad boys.
Yeah, dang.
So,
So you're out here
And
risking your life.
I'm
every
risking
single
my
day.
life to better it, So we just got to make them gains,
Yeah.
I believe in everyone. But yeah, let's get into this movie. So maybe this is why people need to see us, so they know that we're not being serious about anything we say.
Anything we say is completely like just.
Maybe that would
made
help
up.
us, because it's like, oh, can you really? You guys can't really believe these guys are real.
You guys. No. Okay. Well, first off, we are shredded, obviously.
Yes. Well, yeah.
Obviously.
We need to set the
Let's
record
set
straight.
the record straight, but
That's fair.
absolutely swole. But this is our third week going into just movies, monsters and movies, movies about monsters. What are they doing out there?
Yeah. What are those monsters up to?
What are they doing? Why are there so many monsters out there?
Mm-hmm.
This week we'll be going over a personal favorite of mine.
Yes, I'm excited to talk to you about it.
Some would say a guilty pleasure, but I would say I think it's just straight up a good movie.
I think it is.
And that is the classic Dylan O'Brien 2020 masterpiece, Love and Monsters.
The D.O.B.
The D.O.B.
Have we, as much as we've talked about him, is this our actual first movie?
Teen Wolf. Wait, but he wasn't.
He
in
wasn't
the
in Teen Wolf, the
yeah.
movie. That's what I'm trying. It's like, we didn't do Maze Runner. We didn't do American Assassin, which you need to watch. It's so watching American Assassin will make you kind of laugh that like when he's not the heartthrob in this movie. It's kind of funny to me because in American Assassin, he's like bearded and has long hair, and it's like clearly like the alpha
the
male,
guy.
like whatever. So it's just funny to me when he's like the geeky, nerdy guy who could like have no
Be
charisma.
afraid of.
He's really good at acting like that. Like
Yeah.
Styles was like that in Teen Wolf as well. But it's just funny because once you've seen him in that role, you're like, oh no, he could be the leading man if he wants to.
Yeah.
Of like that type of. But he typically tends to play like all sorts of fun. He's kind of a chameleon
kind of
in
the
that
goofy
way.
guy because I mean,
'Cause he could be
know
kind
him
of-
from Maze Runner.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think he would have been a really good front runner for like a Spider-Man. Because
I agree,
he has like that perfect. He could be awkward if you need him to be. He can also be incredibly confident if you need him to be. And his acting when he's close up and he has to like cry in a paralyzed way.
Yeah.
He's
Very
amazing
good.
at it.
Yeah.
Like it's like
Very
his
particular
go-to.
set,
Like
yeah.
fearful crying. D.O.B.
Oh.
All day.
Yeah.
Send it. But yeah, let's talk about this movie. Why?
Why this movie?
So I've got some theories on why you picked this movie.
Do you want to share them first? Because I kind of want you to unspoiled to say them.
Because, a lot of these movies that we picked are around maybe a central monster. Mm-hmm. Perhaps there's more lore behind said monster. We can dig a little bit deeper. And this film tends to be more of
Multiple
monsters, but they're also very similar to something that already exists. They're kind of the
Like-
mini Godzilla versions of, our monsters. And I didn't know if I was onto something by thinking this, but is the monster of this movie fear?
Whoa. Yeah. Yeah.
And you wanted to talk about how overcoming fear is actually like a great
Great.
like
process to
defeat
go
of
through.
a
Yeah,
monster, because
definitely.
really, is it the monsters in this
Yeah.
that
As an
really...
intellectual, Nick.
Go ahead. Finish.
Oh, that's a really good point, and I think you're onto something. And I definitely thought about that when I was watching this movie about big monsters go burr. But I think to not get into too.
Oh no, I ruined it. Should I not have said that?
No,
you just really wanted to pick it because it was a big.
I just
big monster.
yeah. Wait, are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh,
I thought it was like,
I just like the monsters.
bro.
I just like Dylan O'Brien.
Yeah.
I think it's fun.
Yeah.
You're just too smart.
No, I'm not too smart. I was just trying to think of like, I don't
Why
know,
I
you
like
have
this.
you have a style, and I also feel like when something has like a deep meaning, it latches onto you. And so a part of me thought that maybe you had that deeper meaning with this movie. Now I get it on the surface, silly, very silly movie. But it doesn't matter that he defeated, a centipede that was 8 feet tall. What mattered was that he did what he couldn't do. and then did it again.
Yeah.
You know?
I think, like, okay, should we just jump into non-spoilers or what? Because I feel like you're getting at...
No, we're spoiling.
Oh, okay.
Let's just get on.
Okay.
I mean, come on.
Okay, spoilers. We're painting miniatures here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it's a great movie. I think you should watch it if you haven't checked it out.
Yeah.
I think, like, 8 out of 10. Movie I love.
Yeah.
I think that does resonate with me in that, like, yeah, the whole point of the movie isn't him, like, going to find his girlfriend. Like, that's the whole plot. But that's not, like, the moral of the story.
Yeah, the moral of the story.
The moral of the story. And it's not even the moral of the story is Monster's bad.
Right.
Right? It's that, like, okay, he did overcome his fear. He became this person. So I think in a subconscious way, yeah, I really liked how his character developed and he became, like,
Yeah.
what he always wanted to be.
Sure.
And he's like now he's like leading this movement against, like, hey, no, we can come out and we can, like, be a civilization again. And so yeah, I don't know if I could have put exact verbiage to that,
But now you can.
but now I can.
Well, hey, how about that?
This is why Nice United, baby.
Well, sorry for setting you up just for you to be like, nope, I just like monsters go
This
burr.
is Monsters Go Burr.
Because they do. They do be
Monsters
burned.
do be Gogan Burr. I do think I have a few qualms with the movie, but I have a few bright spots with the movie.
Good.
I don't think it's a perfect piece of cinema, but I do think it's a very fun piece of cinema. That's more what I enjoy the movie.
Yeah.
Like, I think there's stuff... Okay. I think what Maze Runner lacks, this movie has.
Which is?
Which is depth and, like, heart.
Okay.
And I love Maze Runner, but it's a bad movie. I love this movie, but it's a genuinely good movie.
Okay.
Like, I will step up to bat for this movie because I think it is a good movie. Like, I genuinely think this has, like, something to say. Where Maze Runner just feels like it's a Hunger Games ripoff, but it's fun to, like, watch Dylan O'Brien, you know, be caught in a maze.
Yeah.
Where's he going to turn next? Oh, no, he's found a cave.
Sure. I get
You
what you're
know?
saying. Yeah. I get you. Yeah, I like... I think there are some unique monsters in this. I think it's fun to think about, like, what could possibly come from our world that if we were all of a sudden the power vacuum of us not
DC
being the
universe has
apex
changed.
if we're no longer the apex predator and overnight that changes because the ant that you could now smush is now the size to smush you. I like that concept of like whenever humanity is like getting soft or something, then there's like an automatic like response to that and how we have to, you know, endure a hardship to become better, you know. So I think at the root of the story, it's good because it gets humanity to a place where they're not necessarily like, let's just go kill everything.
Yeah, what if we were, like, not the alpha?
But like,
right?
what if we could still
Which
endure
is a hard
in
place
a way?
for me to not be an alpha. Like, I'm always on that grind side.
Right. No, I get it, dude.
Yeah.
I eat 40 eggs a day.
Yeah.
And I get it. It's tough. I can't poop.
My cholesterol is through the roof. My doctor is
But it's good.
begging me.
It's good. Ketosis.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it has something to say, and I like that. So at first when you picked this, I was kind of like,
Yeah, what was your experience with this movie prior to... Have you seen it before?
yeah, I saw it during
During the Rona.
I'm about to say something, yeah. So we made it through about a year of the pandemic, and my wife and I were like, look, we've kind of been in our house every day for the last whatever. I don't remember the last time I showered. Do you want to get out of this house for just a little bit? So we hopped in our car and we took a trip to South Carolina where we stayed away from everyone.
Wow.
And then stayed in a hotel where we would like only use the elevator by ourselves. And like, we figured it out. This was before vaccines, all of it. But we just needed for our like mental health just to kind of get out.
Why South Carolina? Just for fun?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of outdoor things. So we prioritized places where we could be
Like out and about.
out.
Yeah.
We stopped in Atlanta on the way.
This is black, right?
Sure.
It's drone skin.
Yeah, that's fine.
Thanks.
It's like probably charcoal.
That works.
But we stopped in Atlanta and then did all the MCU filming locations, which was super fun. So that was good for us.
That was during COVID.
That was.
Oh yeah. I knew you had that. Yeah.
But then once we got there, we saw that there was an outdoor movie event going on, and where you just do the old school like tune into the radio and that's the audio for the movie.
Yeah.
And they were showing Love and Monsters because it didn't get a theatrical release, or if it did, it like wasn't doing good enough that they were kind of like, hey everyone, you can have the movie too. So this movie theater company, I don't even remember what they were, did a great job, and they like allowed everyone to stay in their cars and watch this movie. So that was my first introduction to this film. It was like getting to see it kind of in a theatrical sense, when for the last year it would have been frowned upon to be in a group that large without really any protection or anything. So it was really positive, and the whole thing is about connection, you know? So, it kind of struck me in a sense, too, because it kind of came at a weird time where he's like, we've been locked underground for 7 years. At this point, I'd probably just rather risk it all than to stay down here.
Yeah.
To at least find something and take a chance. And so I think the movie just kind of came at a good time where that story kind of resonated, and it kind of took on a life of its own, where the movie was less about specifically the monsters, and maybe the monster of the film was the fear that we have of like, what if the worst thing could possibly happen? Instead of thinking about, well, is the worst thing that could possibly happen worth risking if the best thing could possibly happen, you know? And so by the end of this movie, even though things don't necessarily work out for our boy, he, in some ways, becomes a completely different person by becoming more confident and being able to let go. I was almost led to believe that at the end of the movie, instead of them saying like we're 100% going to be a couple, it at least left at a spot where she's like, I'm a completely different person. But then at that end, when he like stopped what he was doing, went back, kissed her, he was kind of saying, I'm maybe a different person too.
Yeah,
and she was like, well, wait, maybe I'm kind of attracted to a new, different person. I'll find you.
Yeah.
To like, we'll at least maybe start over.
Yeah.
Not like,
Not
oh,
like,
you did it, you saved the day, you're a hero,
You
kiss
get the
me, blah,
girl.
blah, blah.
Yeah.
Like, the dude was like, I'm leaving. I know where my family is. If you want to tag along, great. And I think her being lifted of that burden of like, oh no, you did this incredibly romantic gesture, but I still don't really feel that way about you. I'm not going to be like pressured into this, was like a healthy way to do it.
Definitely.
So,
For sure.
felt good.
It felt like, she had, I don't know if this is going to be a good color. She as a character felt good and not like, oh, I just have to be the female like sidekick. Or like she felt like,
Or I'm now forced to like him because he did the thing.
Because he came across, whatever, how many miles to come find me.
Exactly.
Or to be with me, whatever. I resonate a lot with your first viewing of it. I think I saw this movie also in a time where, it was during COVID. I watched this movie by myself in my parents' basement when like I was still, like living at home. So it was like before I moved here. And I think I enjoyed this movie a lot because it was about like seeking love. And so I was single and I was like, okay, well, I want to I would do anything for the girl who I'm going to like be with. And I would, Grace, I would. And so I resonated with that. And then I resonated with the whole getting out there and why are we stopping ourselves basically? And it is just a wild movie to come out during COVID when they didn't even plan for this to come out during a pandemic. And it's like, oh, maybe don't get sick and you can get out there and live your life. And it's like, yeah, sure, like with reasonable like measures, but like if there's not monsters around us, like why are we stopping ourselves from like getting out there and like doing
Yeah,
the things
exactly.
that we love?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And I mean, I think those things kind of naturally figured themselves out, right? Like, I mean, along the pandemic, we realized like what is calculated risk and what is just stupid. And I think if we're not willing to calculate risk things for people in our lives, then I mean, it's kind of a dangerous place to be in. I mean, if we're not willing to, I'm not suggesting that you have to submit yourself to like, I know you got COVID, I'm coming in. Like,
Doesn't matter to
that's
me.
not what I'm saying. But like, I do think there's a level of like, you know, I remember when I had to like not hang out with you one fall evening because I was about to go hang out with family.
Yeah.
And I remember how devastating that was because it was like, oh man, I really wish I could put your needs before my own. But it was the time where we could like actually
Like get people sick.
yeah. And so it was like, oh shoot. And I remember when Kate was pregnant, we were like, oh, we gotta like be super careful.
down,
But at
yeah.
the same time, it's like we can't not see people for this long. And so, yeah, I think this movie just kind of threaded that needle, like needle through water.
Nice.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel you, dog.
Come on.
Come on, son.
Also, has there ever been a bad movie that plays Stand By Me?
No.
I don't think so. I kind of want to look it up because, man, if that beat drops in any movie, I feel like it's just a home run. I can't think of a bad movie that would put itself in a space where it would play Stand By Me.
It knows
and then,
where it is. Yeah.
And really mess up. So, shout outs to Stand By Me.
Yeah, a movie knows when it's like we are not the Stand By Me quality.
I agree. How's your miniature going?
You know, not great. I like this green color I'm using, but I made this like tan yellow to try and complement it, and it looks okay. I just don't feel like it's blending quite as well. But I am along for the ride here.
I respect you.
Thank you.
Good job.
What do you think of the monsters in this movie?
Well, as a Dune daddy, big fan of worms.
Yeah.
And boy, do
And
they
boy,
like
howdy.
some worms. in
Boy,
this
howdy.
movie. Great worms. Great worms. Unbelievable worms. Sorry, I almost did that in the Trump voice.
Unbelievable worms.
Unbelievable.
So many
wow.
worms.
Wow. Worms. Wow. I mean, yeah, I think there was a little bit of repetition of the, all right, let's go into this area. Oh man, there's a monster
look
here.
out.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
And after a while, that it was like, oh man, this is the third time, but you've beaten one. You got this. But then it was like, you know, obviously these are terrifying things. And, you know, he's not freezing. He's making progress. It's good. But it did feel like the introduction to every monster felt the exact same.
Yeah. And it was like, there was the most egregious case of this. Like, it's just getting all gunky. Ugh.
Just add a little water.
I'm trying. The most egregious case of it was like they fight the centipede and the dog is like trapped, and then you freeze the dog. And literally the scene, like not even a beat after it, is like, okay, now we're gonna fight the big sand monster with the grenade. And it's like, I understand that you are a monster movie, but like there was no beat in between this where we had like some kind of like
where it didn't
character
feel
building.
so similar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It felt that's honestly one of my biggest qualms with the movie is that moment there where it's like,
Yeah.
it's just you just wanted another monster fight
Yeah.
scene.
They just needed 10 more minutes
Yeah.
of the movie for some reason. Yeah, if you just made it I think what they did was like, man, this will be a great idea to compare this to how I don't know if you can really compare the two. I mean, his mom and dad were stuck in the car. I get it, he froze, but like, they also didn't do anything to like get out of the car. They were like, we're stuck. So it's like, oh, but now he's saving the dog, so it's like better.
Sure.
I think you could have fused that and the worm scene together and then
Sure.
just made one big boss fight.
Yeah.
I think that would have maybe helped a little bit, but other than that, again, it's really nitpicking because I don't think that nitpicking, yes. I don't think that this movie specializes in being a monster film. Again, I think it's got a love story at the root of it that happens to be sprinkled with monsters.
Yeah,
but I
I
think the
agree.
monsters are a metaphor in the end.
I agree. Yeah.
So I really appreciate you bringing this movie to our attention because at first I was kind of like,
Really?
I was a little worried.
Really?
Well, I mean, I was like, okay, we're doing Dracula. We're doing like a werewolf, probably.
Yeah.
We're
I
doing.
wanted to do something that wasn't like classic
Sure.
monster.
No, I get it.
I wanted to do something that was like, okay, what about like a modern take?
Yeah,
Or
no.
not even like a modern take, but like what does like a kind of different monster movie look like?
Yeah. I mean, I think we would be doing ourselves a disservice if we ignored things like Dracula and
100%.
monsters like that.
Yeah.
But why not spice things up? Also, the day we are recording this, Salem's Lot dropped on Max. And if it's good,
Should we
I know it's
sneak it in
another
there?
vampire thing, but it's giving me Midnight Mass vibes. And
Right.
honestly, Midnight Mass might have been like inspired by this to begin with,
Really?
because Mike Flanagan's like Stephen King's like biggest fan.
Yeah.
I think he's gonna finally do something for Stephen King. I think he's doing like one of the stories. I forget which one it is. But anyway, but it might be overdoing it, so it might be like a bonus episode.
Ooh, a little bony epi. Little bone ep.
It's the
What? What?
you can abbreviate any other word. Bonus does not need. Bony, I'm pretty sure is the same amount of letters. It's like you shortened it to
And
the
it's the
same
same amount of
length.
syllables. So I'm not saving any time.
That was outrageous. Bony up. Oh my goodness.
You know you like it.
But what about you? I mean, was there a particular monster that spoke to you?
Oh, fear probably.
Wow.
Yeah.
Doesn't it to us all?
Yeah. There's like times
Classic.
where it's like, oh, I'm trembling with fear from the centipede. I'm like, whoa, brother, same.
What are you doing?
I just want some more bony eps. There's more where this comes from.
Bon appetit.
Bony. Hey. I just think the monsters look really good in this movie.
I agree. It got nominated for an Oscar.
Yeah.
Was
like,
it for visual effects?
probably
I don't know what else. It was.
for Dylan O'Brien's performance?
I don't
Obviously.
think so. It doesn't seem like them to.
But
anyway.
I think the monsters look really. I think the centipede at the beginning of the movie, like,
Sure.
looks very like terrifying. Very much like, oh, this thing is in our home. How do we defeat it? How do
Right.
we get out? I think it just looks really good. I think every monster looks really good. Like for a movie that probably had a pretty minimal budget, like it's a good looking movie, and I just respect that.
No, I agree. I really appreciated too whoever the artist was who did all of Dylan O'Brien's drawings.
Yeah.
I liked his like codex
Yeah.
of, hey, I can't help, but I can at least mark down weaknesses and stuff like that, which I
Yeah.
thought was kind of neat. There's like almost like a video game aspect of like, here's all the bosses we've fought, here's the knowledge we've gained through combat and other such things.
Yeah, I like that part of the movie where it ends and it's like, hey, here's like the code book. Here's like the Pokedex almost. And like here are the monsters you can encounter and like how to defeat them.
Yeah, and then he's kind of doing it live so that people can, hey, here's your fighting chance, kind of a thing. No, I really, it's just a good, feel-good movie. And while there are monsters, it does feel like it handles it in a way that tries its best to be as family-friendly as possible. I mean, I think it's still probably like a, 10 and older type thing, but it's pretty approachable for most people, I'd say.
I got paint on my face.
Oh, jeez. How'd you get paint on your face? How does that even happen?
It's a grind.
You have a very, clear, path where your paintbrush is.
I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, I think overall why I picked the movie, I just really like it, and
Good.
I'm glad that you went on this journey with me to a place that didn't have the Mr. Dracula in it or a werewolf
Sure.
or like a classic monster. I felt like this is a different monster than what we've seen, where it's like, okay, we can't like relate to it, like Dracula, or
Yeah.
even like Alien. It's like, okay, you're just trying to survive. Like, well, I guess there's parts of this movie where it's like these monsters aren't really that bad. They are also just trying to
Yeah.
live, and like, are we like, we shouldn't be afraid of them, because in the end, like the crab like gets on their side.
Yeah, they're
and,
kind of okay as long
Yeah.
as you can, like they're not all evil. They're just trying to survive as well. It wasn't their fault that they grew big. Which is kind of the whole like Godzilla debate. It's like, yeah, he does or she does or whatever kill a lot of people when it wakes up from a nap, but it helps us a lot sometimes too. So, yeah, there's that level of.
I'm also cranky when I wake up from a nap, so I get you, Godzilla.
Well, I mean, there's even natural predators that exist today that we're like, we don't get mad when like a bear kills somebody.
Yeah.
We're like, wait, what was that person doing?
Yeah.
Were they in an area where they
Oh,
shouldn't
yeah.
be? Well,
Man-
yeah,
Man
but
throws pine cone at bear. Bear kills him. Yeah, I'm like, okay, I get it.
it's like, well, you're definitely where you're not supposed to be, so that's maybe gonna happen. But yeah, what do you think? Yeah, there's the crab, there's the Australian cap, third act.
Yeah, I think like, oh, okay. Watching this movie with my wife,
Okay,
I'm glad I watched it with her. She I think she really enjoyed it.
good.
And it was just like, I don't know if what did you think about him going, like the whole plot of him going to see his girlfriend? Because she was like, from the get go, she's like, she's moved on, like immediately. Like there wasn't any like a shadow of that, like, oh, they're gonna be reunited and love each other.
Yeah, that is tricky. I kind of resonate with Joel. Like I get that. Like if that's the one thing you remember, like being your like steadfast thing to continue, I don't feel like you just brush that off, and I don't think she did either. It sounds like recently she got out of like a relationship, so it's not like she didn't hold on to at least some hope as well. But yeah, I do feel bad for my boy. I mean, but I don't think he like held any resentment towards her.
No,
So I think it was
all
healthy.
in healthy ways.
But yeah, do you think it was obvious? I don't know. I don't think, at least for him, it made sense why he didn't know it was obvious.
I think for his character, it definitely makes sense why he was like, oh no, I'm sold out on this. Like I would be too. Like that's why I was resonating with it, especially like when I was in my parents' basement, if like looking for like, oh, what does like a relationship look like for me? I was like, yeah, I would do that if there was someone I had like a history with, like we were dating before the world ends or whatever.
yeah,
I would.
exactly.
I could resonate with that. And so, but yeah, it's maybe a little obvious.
Yeah, the part where he kind of feels like he's only really communicating and not hearing too much back from her as much. So yeah, I get that. I just can't get the white in his eyes perfect, but we're getting there. What do you think?
I think my pants are the pants that I'm drawing, not the pants I'm wearing.
Yeah.
I think. Oh, that looks incredible.
Hey, thanks.
Wow, that looks really good.
Thanks. We're getting there.
This reminds me of not that we're on a date, but there's a date that Grace and I had, where like we did like self portraits of each other.
Oh,
So,
geez.
like I drew a self portrait of Grace, she drew a self portrait of me. She did an incredible
Sounds
job.
like just a
An
disaster
incredible job.
free setup
Yeah.
for you.
I'm like, yeah, she did
Thanks,
so well.
Michael.
And then I drew like, I didn't even like draw like a person. I drew like shapes.
Yeah.
And like colors coming off of that, more like abstract art, because that's all I can really draw. And it was like, no, Grace, you light
Your
up my
aura
life.
is
Yeah,
blue and
yeah.
hues of purple.
So this looks like this. I had the same exact feeling when I look at my little guys and they're like smudgy and like not clean. And I look up your Spider-Man and he's like just perfect.
No, he's not. He's gritty. But I think I definitely
He's
watered
hidden the
it
gritty.
down better. Tricky. The details will be tough. I got to do all the webbing in black. That's not going to be fun.
Yeah. I feel like I'm I'm at a good space.
We'll take some pictures. Maybe when I post this
Yeah.
episode on Instagram, I'll just post a picture of our minis instead.
Yeah.
Be like, check out this episode. Has nothing to do with these miniatures.
Yeah.
But you can at least see them.
Because I got the brown, and like the gray beneath the brown almost makes them look like wrinkly.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm into it.
It's a vibe.
It is a vibe.
Give them a good wash.
Yeah. I'm into it. Well, anything else you want to say about Love and Monsters?
I love this movie about monsters.
I'm Monster, this movie
Monster
about
is
love.
love. No, I don't. I think other than the metaphor, there's nothing real too deep, and that's okay. I think movies are meant to be enjoyed, and I was reminded recently of like sometimes I go to the theater not to be like taught something or learn about
Pointing
types of
history or
storytelling. Sometimes it's like going to see Top Gun Maverick when there hasn't really been a movie in theaters for 2 years. And it's just, wow. The plot of this movie, whatever. But damn, does it look good.
Yeah.
And it is fun. And it is a good time. And there's just 4 dads sneaking beers in to the theater,
This is Top Gun.
just vibing. Yeah. And I think there's a place for movies like this, and I'm glad that this movie got made because I don't think we are going to continue to see a lot of this.
No.
This is the type of movie that probably makes it to streaming sometimes. But I think we are in the age of unless theatrical releases start making like way more money, I don't think people are going to take risks on things that don't continue to make money.
Sure.
And it scares me and it's sad. So I want to support films like this because even if it's not a 10 out of 10, it's fun and it's exciting. It's not necessarily a kids movie. It's not necessarily like the demographic that's going to just break the bank or blow up the box office, I guess.
It's
more.
not a Marvel box office movie.
Yeah, because I mean, we're living in the reality that you can spend $250 million to make a movie, but it has to make $1 billion. And so that's going to be a very specific type movie. Or the movie can cost $5 million so that you can make $45 million and it's a big profit. This movie,
It's in that middle spot.
yeah, is somewhere in there because the CGI was good enough that I'm like, I highly doubt that this is like an indie film. So I like that Dylan O'Brien exists in this space because I feel like he brings a level of fandom to go see a movie that maybe won't necessarily, like, when I think back to some other movies that he was in, like The Outfit was a really good movie that he happened to be a part of. They marketed him as like, and Dylan O'Brien's in this movie. He's not even in the movie for that long. But it brought enough eyes to that movie that I think, you know, it was helpful. So it's just, I hope we can continue to get these like middle budget films made where they're still polished and nice, even if they're not
Like
revolutionary
cinematic masterpieces.
So I do hope that we
Yeah. I like
either figure out how to get people into theaters more without it being a, hey, corporate says that, you know, we have to have
a trilogy.
5 minutes of this because data says that this is, like, as soon as we become a number, we're cooked and it's bad and I don't like it. And so I want to support movies like this. And so that's why I think it was important that we brought it tonight. And I'm glad you brought it because I don't think it would have been one of my picks. And I think I would have regretted it after having this conversation and miniature painting and coffee with you.
Yeah, amen. Yeah, I think that sums up my opinions. Where I just feel like these movies, it's the canyon is widening. Where it's like you have a $5 million comedy or horror movie that makes like
Yeah.
50, 60
And
million.
those certain movies can
Great.
thrive
Those work
like
great.
that. Like there's some great $10 million horror movies for sure. But go ahead.
But where's like the $80 million sci-fi thriller?
Yeah.
That's gonna, besides like a Christopher Nolan movie, that makes any money or even sees the light of day in the theater, where it's like, here's a Netflix exclusive that's, didn't really have the backing and ultimately was like maybe not very good. So it's like more people are going to be like, oh, well, I don't like these movies because it's not well made. There's not a lot of money behind it. It's just like perpetuating the whole thing. And then you put it out in theaters and it doesn't do well. And it's like, okay, there has to be some middle ground, but the middle ground is disappearing.
Yeah.
To where you either have to you're basically a Marvel movie or you're not, or you're just not making money.
Yeah,
in
exactly.
Theaters. And even Marvel movies maybe are making money or they're just not commercially successful as they were. I don't know. That's a whole thought.
No, I like it.
Great movie.
Yes.
Love and
Solid
Monsters.
pick. Love and Monsters. I love and monster you. We love and monster you all. And if you haven't seen this movie, give it a shot. Thanks for listening this far. I don't know what we're going to tease next week. We haven't decided what we're going to talk about, so I'm not going to, tantalize anything, but it's going to have
for more of us.
It's going to be spook. It's going to have some spook in your veins. We've got 2 episodes coming out by Halloween-ish. This one for sure is coming out before Halloween, so maybe we'll have to pick something a little more
Halloween spook.
little more Halloween spook. So, but yeah, thanks for tuning in with us. We will post a picture of our beautiful faces, our beautiful minis, and we're excited that your beautiful faces are listening to us.
That's right. All
Not
your
us united.
Amen.
Amen. All right.
See
you, everybody.
Love it.
You've just listened to Not Us United. You can find us under Not Us United on Spotify, iTunes, and YouTube. Please leave us a review and consider subscribing to our podcast. You can reach out for future podcast topic suggestions at notusunitedpod@gmail.com.